Oh. First of all, you have to understand that as soon as...
Oh, hold on. Welcome, family. Welcome. Hold on. Let me see something. My computer is already acting up. Okay. Great sunrise on this great Sunday morning. I hope all is well with you as it is with me. Hold on. And I just wanted to talk about Arnold Swapanaga here a little bit. About, I would say I was in elementary school when I first got to see him in real life, in person. He came to my school. He was friends with one of the teachers at my school. And this was a time, I think, when his movie Kindergarten Cop was out. His movie Kindergarten Cop came out, or something like that. And he came to visit us. We were like the last, I was the last, it was my last year in 6th grade or something like that. But anyways, let's get into this video. And by the way, he is definitely in the red room. He's just naturally there. That's his place. This is where they lie. They live within the red place. So let's get into it. Let's get into this video. Let me share this video with you guys. Oh, can you see it? Okay, let me take the thing off here. And he said something interesting. He said something. I didn't like him as governor. I thought he should have stayed with the movies instead of get into politics. I think that's when kind of became undesirable to watch him as an actor any longer, or to okay, so let me get to the part where he's talking.
Kill someone else by accident. So this is why we have a traffic light. You cannot say, no one is going to tell me that I'm going to stop here, that I have to stop at this traffic light here. I'm going to go right through it. Yeah, then you kill someone else, and then it is your doing. So this is the same thing with the virus. You cannot go and not put a mask on, because when you breathe, you can infect someone else, and you can infect someone that then gets sick and may die. So this is why
But Arnold Schwarzenegger, I have a problem with that logic, sir. Isn't everybody supposed to wear a mask? So if everybody's wearing a mask and the people that don't want to wear a mask is out there, then how is it bothering other people? And then if they got the jab, if the mask is supposed to be safe, let me stick with the mask. If the mask is supposed to be safe, Arnold, I'll get into it later on that thinking, because I tell you, they needed us. Okay. So he's arguing about the mask, and he's arguing about the jab. So if you're protected with the mask on your face, how is somebody else not wearing a mask affecting you if the safety of the mask is protecting you? So that your issue with someone not doing something tells me that the mask evidently is not safe enough. And
I think we all have to work together on this. The only way we can lick this virus is, again, if we do like I suggested earlier about politics, we have to come together rather than fighting and always just saying, this, according to my principles, this is a free country and I'm going to have the freedom to wear no mask. Yeah, you have the freedom to wear no mask, but you know something, you're a schmuck for not wearing a mask because you're not supposed to.
And then the same logic with the car that you was talking about. I have a freedom to drive or to ride well, it doesn't have to be. I can I can drive anywhere. I can go travel. I have the right to travel. The free right to travel. But because man makes cars, man is control of cars. Cars make man think he's God, for one thing. Airplanes make man think he's God. The fact that they want to go to leave the land that they were born on and go out of space makes them think that they believe they are God. So um that they control those things, but they don't control a person's free right to live and to move about the planet as they feel. So if someone doesn't fall into the same beliefs of being fearful of their getting sick as you do, the fact that you're not seeing that all you have to be concerned for is the protection of yourself, which means, protecting yourself with whatever you need to do to protect yourself. And don't worry about the other person unless the other person is paying your bills, Arnold
To
Schwarzenegger,
protect your fellow
or
members
is your
around you.
loved one.
It's just that simple. So this is the way I feel about it. And that's why I am out there and talking about it and tweeting out about it and doing videos and all this kind of stuff, because I want people to understand. I don't want to villainize anyone here, but I just want to tell everyone, let's work together and let's stop fighting, because there is a virus and it's better to get vaccinated than to wear a mask.
So Arnold Schwarzenegger is trying to say that he feels like if you're not wearing a mask, then you're trying to kill other people, because he related it to a car and running the red light. But my thing is, that is not even, you can't even connect the two together, because it's different. What is your chances of dealing with a person that is not wearing a mask when you're around a majority of the people wearing masks? So, and then a lot of the people out here then got the jab. So why are you worried about, your mind should be concerned for the people that got the jab and got the mask, and not the people necessarily that decide or choose not to, because they're the least of your problems. Your problems now, the focus now is those who got it and what happens from there. Because it's a lost cause worrying over people telling people that they don't have the right to those things, and they do in this country or in this world, period. It's my firm belief that we have our rights to do whatever we want and within the right mind. Within the right mind. That's why I talk about spirituality over here. because we don't deal with robbers, stealers, killers, and destroyers. We deal with people who want to live wholesome lives and know when they're doing right or wrong by other people, not just by somebody else telling you that you're wrong, but you know in your heart of heart. When the best way to know when you're wrong, because people can say you're wrong because their mind feel like that's wrong in their mind. But what makes that wrong? Like the other day, someone was rude to me, but then want to call me rude when I tell them because they wanted to shush me and I was talking. And I thought that that was rude. So, but they were watching something and they felt like that was more important. So, who could say who was rude? Was I rude because felt like, what I wanted to communicate to someone, or does that person get the right to call me rude because they were wanting to watch something stupid on television? You know, I don't know. It all depends on what you hold important. If you don't hold other people important, you hold falsehood on television important, then I guess I would be rude. It depends on the principle of it all. Is people come first in your life? Do you want to listen to what someone else is saying, or do you want to be listen to some people that you don't even know on television and what they're saying? Is that more important to you than your loved one? Do you then turn around and tell your loved one shh, and they're being rude or being uh, this awful person, whatever name you call them? But that's what I mean. You got to know we don't have any of that in this society, and it's hard for me to communicate it because all I can say is we're destroyed people mentally, emotionally, and physically. So it's hard to communicate. Like the other day, I was telling you guys I was on Jessica X's panel, and it was very hard to to talk because she let me talk, but then somebody popped in and she immediately interrupted me. Jessica did, and then started talking to that person who is a swirler, female swirler, who all she got up there and did was rub it in the man's face. And I was arguing with the man anyways. I was trying to get him, basically not arguing with him, but he was listening to me and trying, but he couldn't get what I was saying because I was saying that they don't think like we think. And one way you can tell that they don't think like we think, and a lot of our people are fooled on a daily basis um, into thinking that they do think like us and they feel like us and they are like us, but they're not. Um, they can imitate really good. So, of course, a lot of brothers out here can be in the hood and think that they got the baddest thing smoking, the hottest thing smoking, right? In the whole town by being with the Becky. And they think they got the brightest thing smoking in the whole town being with the Becky. Because that's the level that they're on. And that's all in the red room, of course. That's all in that red room. So when I was trying to explain to the brother, and I was on the panel I stayed up there, and I was explaining to him they don't think like we do when he was talking about the N word that CK, Crystalline Carrington's boyfriend, blurred back from was prompted. He was prompted to respond back to the another brother on their playhouse or something like that they call it, um, forum that they were on. He was prompted to repeat what he said, to actually agree with it, because his mind. I'm not making he. And then the guy on the panel with me thought that I was making up an excuse for her boyfriend, Mr. E. I don't make no excuses for them because there's no excuse for it. If you're a different being, you're a different being. You act accordingly. But they don't. They don't. They don't respect us at all. And it's getting worse. It's getting pretty worse because our people, like she was saying the other day on Sinji's panel, Women's Fair was saying that when somebody shows you who they are the first time, believe them. But unfortunately, our people are in a whole different mind space in life, and variety of our people are. And it's impossible, they know it's impossible to reach. It's horrifically designed that way. It's horrifically designed in that manner. So a lot of people don't think about that. They don't think about that. Because, but it's so much we see with our own eyes, we experience in life, that they don't, it's like they don't really want to feel it or experience it, in denial or something like that. But it's the truth. It's the truth. And it's the fact that they think that they can take and give rights to people is the number one problem. It's the number one problem. But we've allowed for that. We've allowed ourselves to be subjugated to their standards, subjugated to their level of life. And even though your mind is not the same as theirs, because the whole thing is, I've said it before, I've said it 100 million times, that if you thought like them, you would have been like them. And we're not like them, by no means. That can explain to you why Black people are living in these communities that are poor and disenfranchised, why they have Freemasons and uh, secret societies that uphold keeping us under. But all these means that they do, all the things they do, like keeping crime in our communities, keeping everything working in their favor. We never have anything working in our favor, as far as unless it benefits them in some kind of way, like abortion. Our people fell for that stuff. Our people fell for a lot of stuff, and it's sinister. It's pretty sinister that we can't see that once we recognize that all we really have to do, all we really had to do, because who knows, you know, they bring mm, foreigners over, and that was clear to see why they did that in the 90s. Well, in the, yeah, 90s and 2000s. Um, they did that because they didn't have, and then they moved most of the factory jobs that we had, like, to China, right? We can see why they did that, why they started temporary services in our communities for people, and which would never give you any kind of benefits, and you had to really, really work to get onto that job permanently. But they always held all, they had all the blocks to prevent you from really moving forward many times. But either way, being in the system, you're still controlled. So it really doesn't matter if um, it really doesn't matter if you want to see it or not. See that you are not anything like them, and everything that is going on is from their minds. It's from their minds. It's strategies from their minds, not from a black man's mind or a black woman's mind. We're actually the ones who were the slaves all over again, doing the bidding, slaves to the money, slaves to the money that doesn't have no resources, slave to money without resources. And we're dealing with money that has no usefulness, that's really not benefiting anything. But it is benefiting only them. So let me share these articles here, because in the end of the day, think of it this way. If you don't have no investment or no resources, and you're just out here with getting money, you're out here with money, dealing with money, that money is really nothing. That money is really nothing. Unfortunately, it comes to you and it goes real fast. You don't have anything to benefit from. You know what I'm saying? So we're out here, majority of us, nothing to benefit from. And we're easily we're in a situation that's very volatile to our freedom, because we're around people that think in their minds somehow they control other people's freedom, other people's rights, natural born rights that we've been given. And they do this under the guise of the money, which is nothing, but they made it God to you. They made it to control you. Look, hold on. Okay, I'm back. They use the money to control us. Like, it's easy to fall in step and make money. But is it the moral thing to do? Is it the right thing to do? No, it's the easy thing to do for everybody to fall in step and do what they tell you to do and actually do things they tell you to do that might be detrimental to others. That's a hitman. That's hiring a hitman. They hire hitmen all the time, and then they want to talk about Donald Trump being a hitman. They put hitmen in our communities trying to get you to do the job. They put hitmen lacing you with some marijuana. Why would you want to deal with people that insult your intelligence when they want to give you beer and give you and tell you if you want a booty, you got to get the job. Who are you? I mean, that's red room rhetoric. That's red room rhetoric. Have y'all heard of the red light district? Yeah, you know why it's the red light district? So, but our people fall for that. And I warned about this a long time ago. I've been warned that I really knew that we needed to have something in place where we could get out of here, escape, separate, because it is very, 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 very dangerous. And you about to see with all of this stuff going on and how prophecy is coming coming forward, and we're actually seeing it all. Not necessarily just because a lot of prophecies have happened, because it's not just the prophecy from the book, the playbook, at least I call it, but it's all these prophecies, um, the recent ones, such as that are contributed to the book, but we've been warned time and time again about these things, and uh we refuse to change it. All we have to do is, you know, right now, we got people who think it's still who give so much credit to them, so much credit to them. I just don't get it. I really don't get it. But this was in the news yesterday, and I talked about how men are going around with the rhetoric of you when you change your DNA from being a Negro or a Bantu or Nubian person, you're no longer a Nubian person. You're no longer a Bantu. I would say your mom and dad determine that. Both parents determine that, not just one parent. You can't, and I think that's where we're missing the point. I think that's where we're missing the point. Because women as well do this. Look, okay, let me see. See if I can get back to the story. Or do I have a problem? Okay. Okay. Okay, let me get into the story here. Patrick Mahomes' fiancee, Brittany Matthews, shares adorable video of bouncing baby Sterling. She is cute. She is the cutest. Brittany Matthews captioned the post on her on her Instagram story. Okay, you see this baby? He's mixed race and she's Caucasian. So when a black man and a white woman, or a white woman or a black woman and a white man get together, this is what they will produce right here. They will produce not equally halved, but a child that is no longer Negro, a child that is no longer. And there was an article I wanted to share with you guys. I'm going to try to find it. I know. Let me see. I know I put it in my email. Let me just search my email and see if I can find that, because it was on something, or it might be in my history, because I think I found it on the computer, but it was a long while ago. I can look it up again. But they wanted to put out this rhetoric. I don't know, probably some of you already probably read it, but if you read about, always reading about their science and when it comes to man. But to, let's see what this says here. I'm still having trouble with this. Let me see if it let me do it here. Ooh, did I stop it? Oh no, it's still sharing. Okay. I'm like, why when we know something here, okay? We gotta put something into perspective. Hmm. We gotta put this in perspective here, which is great. You know, it's great that I'm glad actually that they found this, because it tells me a lot. It's actually more helpful than we thought, Riz, right? That they're now coming up with that they found a Neanderthal that is I'm gonna share it after I finish talking about this right here. I mean, I'm not saying anything wrong with mixed children, because I got mixed people, and mixed people didn't cause anything. They're the result of something. Unfortunately, and generational, we all generational mixed, unfortunately, but we know that came from a horrific rape. We know that it came from a horrific disrespect of another culture. And it happens over and over and over again. And we're continuously in this situation where we don't recognize we're prisoners of war. We're prisoners of war. And I was trying to tell that on the panel and at Jessica's channel. And the lady that was swirling come out and says, no, no, we're not prisoners of no war. We don't. She was talking about a whole different war. She was talking about gender war with a black man. She's the swirler. So she was talking about, oh, and when I sashay my man in front of black men, they get so jealous and they get so this and that. It was so disgusting because my discussion was pretty much different than what she was taking out, and they weren't hearing me. They were over talking over me, not allowing me to get my words straight, my point straight. They wanted to talk about everything, and then she got into it with the man because the man she was talking about, she was sashaying her whole swirling life in front of, and I'm like, this is disgusting. And then I literally got sick, and I was like, I have to leave. I had to leave off that channel, and because it was nothing where I was going. It wasn't the purple room. It wasn't the high chakra. It was the red, and it was in my gut, and it just made me sick. And I had to go, actually, y'all, to make myself feel better, because I think sometimes you get overexerted, overstressed, and I think my day was pretty much like that. So getting into that just pushed it over. Sometimes I get that away. And then I have to lay down and go to sleep. It was late at night anyway, so I just went to sleep, and I feel so much better after that. But I need to really take care of that, so that doesn't happen often. But like I was saying, I was just telling that we're prisoners of war, and they didn't get it. They were talking about, she thought I meant of the black man. She's like, no, we're free. We can do whatever. We're not like that. And I'm like, okay, if you feel like that. And I was like, just left that place. But anyway, in this situation, I don't care whether you're a male or a female swirler. You got to know that this is a 100% Caucasian baby. And you don't know where you are, who you are, or why you are. And all of those things really matter in this life. And if you don't have that information, if these people are the least intelligent, are the least of everything, when it compares to us, then why do we not know that they're going to fight us on every turf, on everything? Look at the Olympics. Why are we in their Olympics? Why are we in their schools? Why are we period in their society when it's just competition? They told us through Olympia, the when they talk about Rome and what they used to do. That's what they used to do to the people after they conquered and made them prisoners. They held them people, the locals, the natives of Greece, prison, and then put them fighting with the lions and stuff. Okay. And that's what they did to the people. So they done went around, and everywhere that there were black and brown people, Watch what they say in this article. I'm sorry, y'all. I got so much going on in the background. That's part of it. You would think that adults could be adults, but children are children. Okay. Patrick Mahomes and Brittany Matthews are raising a daughter with some, what they say here, serious rhythm. Serious rhythm. We contribute. We contribute to them. We contribute to their military. If it wasn't for Black Nubian people in the military, they wouldn't have the most powerful military. Hold on. Hold on. They wouldn't have the most powerful military today if it wasn't for us. We contribute to a lot of things. And this, we contribute to the baby having serious rhythm. You know, Matthews 25 shared an adorable video on Saturday of 5-month-old Sterling Sky bouncing around in her jolly jumper to the song Rick and Morty by Soldier Boy. Now, let me tell you, if it wasn't for our rich culture, our rich DNA, hold on, hold on, hold on. Let's see. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Because I'm having difficulties here. So I had to get on the phone to actually save it. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Because my computer is acting up. And as you can see, it's swirling around. See the computer? You can see the computer swirling around. And I'm stuck. So I'm stuck here. And I can't really do anything. So I'm hoping that you can hear me. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm not even going to be able to use the computer much to share the stuff I need to share. This is crazy. Tried to shut it down and everything. Okay, there we go. Finally, maybe we can get it back started. But be patient with me. I'm just trying to get it back started. So I got stuck. Okay. I'm going to put this down so I can do the keyboard. Yeah, you got to keep those children busy because it is, I'm telling you, it is something else. They will wear you out. Children will wear you out. Okay, I'm trying to see if I can get set back up in here the right way. I'm gonna see if my computer is just, I'm gonna have it restore everything. They're giving us such a, let me get out of this. Giving us such a hard time. Okay, we're back. Oh, we're back. Okay, I'm gonna have to get out of this. I'm back. Okay, we had such difficulties. But anyway, y'all got the point on his article. But let's get into the how they are taking advantage, how they taking advantage of the situation. It's like we're a herd of cattle for them. We're a herd of cattle for like arms, legs, organs, DNA. And it's very, very okay, that's the one I want to share. If it's gonna act right. But like I was saying, I think it's a good that they've come out and said that they found a cave girl that's half Neanderthal and half Denisovan. Let me look into this because the whole thing is, why don't she still exist? Why don't she still exist? You're helping. Let me see. Let me see. Denisovan. I'm trying to figure out. Okay, can somebody tell me what is considered the Denisovans? Denisovans. What is considered? I guess the. Okay, let me see if I can find that. Paleolithic. Denisovans are known from few remains and consequently most of what is known. Okay, so it's no wonder they don't exist. For Amaler, the Denisovans or Denisovan hominins are an extinct species of subspecies of archaic human that range from across Asia during the lower and middle Paleolithic. He said they may not. Okay, they were talking about Denisovans' history. DNA evidence suggests Denisovans are related to both Neanderthals and modern humans, and may have interbred with both. Denisovans share a common ancestor with both modern humans and Neanderthals. Hmm. Well, anyways, it just proves that interbreeding is not going to extend our time on Earth. It's not going to it's not going to not really extend our time on Earth, because it's not going to um it doesn't benefit us in any kind of way. And they're saying the cave girl was half Neanderthal and half Denisovan. Some 50,000 years later, scientists have confirmed. Hold on, y'all. Let me see. Okay. Scientists have confirmed that they had a daughter together. DNA extracted from the bone fragments found in the cave showed the girl was the offspring of a Neanderthal mother and a Denisovan father. But that doesn't really tell me anything, because they're saying that both of them are. Let me read over here what they were saying. They're saying that both Denison and Neanderthal are and modern humans are related to both Neanderthals and modern humans. So Denisovans are related to both Neanderthals and modern humans, or what they call modern humans, and may have interbred with both. But we're different than all of this, right? So the discovery reported in Nature gives a rare insight into the lives of our closest ancient human relatives. Neanderthals and Denisovans were humans like us, but belonged to different species. We knew from previous studies that Neanderthals and Denisovans must have occasionally had children together, says Vivian Sloan, researcher at the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology. But I never thought we would be so lucky as to find an actual offspring of the two groups. Have y'all ever stopped to think, why do they study these things? If they are, uh, if they were anything like us, why would they study these things? Why would they have the need to study these things? And why do they feel the need? We already know the need to interbreed with us. And we often give them things. We often give them the ability to come amongst us. We give them, and they don't afford us that same. We give them peace. We don't go in war in their communities, but they can come in our communities, and they can have the Masonic order, fraternal order of police, what have you, arrange these gangs in our communities, these issues in our communities. They can come and do whatever they want in our communities and not have to really and have immunity against with them on their side. You know, they control the narrative of the guy that they put knee on the neck. They control that narrative. You see, they cease to think higher than what the level we're thinking on now. The whole big picture of it all is why. Why? Why does it exist as such? You know, we're in the university here on this channel. Um we're not in a class in a in a state, in a city. You see what I'm saying? We're in a higher thought process. And why does it exist above us, over our heads? If it, and our people don't ask that question. Our people don't want to ask that question. It's almost as if, they just want to go along and, you know, I just, for some reason, I can't get what I want across to you guys, because it's very important that it's almost as if, how do I describe it? What I can say it's definitely education and self-knowledge. It's the lack of self-knowledge and what you've been told, what our people have been told about themselves. Of course you have free will. That's not even a question. The whole thing is you have uh you have that you're born with that. You're born with that. And just because somebody gives you papers and numbers, they got numbers over us and they got papers over us. They got, just because of that, that doesn't make it legit. That doesn't make it legit. That's record keeping. And um he says all races are represented in the Masonic order. They use your own race to promote this deception. Sellouts are all colors. Yeah, true. But you're not in the situation, you're not in the predict you're not thinking higher, where you're not able or capable, Salvation Soldier, to think, to see the big picture, to see that the Negroid person being here, the Bantu, is not in the same predicament as others. This, I don't even know my true language. They expected us to be conformed. And when I say conformed by now, is we should, the way we're here in numbers as we are now, they did not want us in this numbers by, they expected that we would have blended in by now. And they used the war on drugs, which was really a war on our communities. They used white women in movies on all over the TV. They used white society, period, to to convolute or twist or get us to get out of our love for self or wanting to be black, period, being what we are in America. They wanted, they even used money. So money's been the main thing of control. Religion's been control, because religion is the big part of it. We know that. Um, yeah, we are free. They made us, no, they did the opposite. They made you think that you're not free. They made you think that you're not free. They do make you think, give you a sense, but the whole thing is, let me explain what I'm trying to say by the way they make you think that you're not free. You have police officers who are not anything but intimidators and put on the streets to control people. They got religion that controls the people. They they got schools that conform you and control you as well. They got all of these things to control you in the mind mentally so that you are not you know that you're not free. You know that you're not free because freedom means that you don't have anything controlling you. That's true freedom. But the but what it is yeah, the democracy part, the political part, yeah, that is a lie because you can't be free when you have people dictating to you, certain things, and you live within a constraint where if for your career you have to do this and this and that instead of you going out and getting a skill where you can be a little bit more lenient with your skills. You have a certain skill, you have to abide by laws. But some skills you don't have to necessarily abide by laws. That depends if you're getting yourself ready to be more sovereign, like a woodworker, a woodworker, like but if you're a mechanic, on the other hand, you got to abide by laws. You got to get licensed because you got to be because it's certifications and stuff like that. Because you're dealing with the whole people. I guess I'm talking the difference between the people, I keep forgetting, Amish people and us in the city. The Amish people, they did all their living in the rural areas, so they were genuinely sovereign, generally free. But they didn't have to have license. They didn't have to have for building their houses. They didn't have to have all this crazy stuff that we have to have. Yeah, he's saying it's just evil that controls us. Per Ephesians 6 verse 12, it's clear it's not color. They use color as a vehicle. Yes, but guess who's using color as a vehicle and riding it? Guess who's using color as a vehicle and been riding on it? And guess who? You see, you got to see the situation that we're in. That's why I said our thinking is different because our world is different. Your perspective is going to be different than my perspective, and a lot of other people from the same community as me perspective. The the twisting, the convolution comes in of the whole story is when some people that look like me truly think that all is well and that they don't see because they're given the boule. Let's say the boule. That's the boule. That's the boule who can't see, and they're blinded by all the money they got. Money blinds you. It makes you think everything. You fall into the Disney World mind. That's what happens. That's what happens to them. So you can't even communicate with those people because they got other concerns. Their concerns is swirling, LGBTQ, pushing peace, pushing their DNA to swirl, like make swirling children, more swirling children. Their minds are on. They're still trying to fight a battle of thinking that somehow there could be peace without knowing or truly grasping the hold of the idea that peace is not going to come because of what is controlling everything. So basically, basically, it's like he said, forget perspectives here on this physical plane. When you arrive for judgment in heaven, there is no separate line of color on your. But it is. But it is because we've been told a lot of lies. You got to realize, you got to count for, they got to, they got to answer to the things they've done and that we've noticed. You can't bypass the fact that we did have a spiritual belief system and we used it. And when we used it, they were punished for doing it. But yet it's getting pushed in our face and people are doing it that didn't do it before. They basically killed our ancestors that did it, and then they took on it for themselves. That has to be answered for. You can't we can't bypass over the things we've seen, and you tell me I'm investigating, and you're telling me I'm going to investigate. I'm not going to let somebody just tell me anything and have me believe in anything. So, from your perspective, yeah, you see it like that. From your perspective, you can probably, see it that way. But I don't. I don't see it that way because I know that I'm science. My color dictates that. And you are a form of the science as well. You are a form of the science. I'm a form of the science. I think it should be figured out. And why? My question is, why do they exert themselves above us in the science if it's not about color? If it's not about color, my question is, why do they exert the science? Why do they put the science over our heads and tell us we must believe their science and not give us the opportunity to have our own of anything? You see, that right there, yeah, keep high frequency. Yeah, that the veil is lifting. Exactly. Exactly. He said, Harley, the butterfly witch, said, do we have universal law to keep us safe from the vaccines? But the thing about it is, I was thinking about this earlier. If the people are not, you see, and Salvation Soldier, this is something that's very critical because your your group, your community is not doing things. Although there's some people in your community that I'm going to give it credit. There's people in your community that have done this and they've murdered a lot of the holistic doctors. A lot of the holistic doctors, I sadly watched because I so much rather deal with holistic. I sadly watched all of them one by one a few years ago, 3 years ago, get knocked off. I sadly watched, and this is because you don't recognize that majority of the people don't recognize that um, the science does not necessarily allow for people to just do anything. The science says, uh, natural stuff, natural stuff. It says listen to the body. It says listen to the body. The body speaks. Um, so yes, that's law. That's universal law. And it should keep us safe from the vaccines, from these vaccines. And that's what I stand on. That's what I stand behind. I stand behind common sense of why don't haven't they your group of community, part of your, I'm going to say part of your group in your community, Salvation Soldier, have not put out that exercise, eating right can help people get over all these diseases that they're suffering from. They have put out that before, but they haven't been truthful with the people. They haven't been 100% truthful with people because of color. And this is all because of color. Because I'm going to tell you, Sister Ajalee put up a post and she says, um, what overpopulation meant. The true meaning of overpopulation was really the dying off of Caucasian people. But because their numbers are shrinking, there's something that they want to do about it. And they're trying to do this overpopulation, and it's not true. So why should we have to live with this? Can you tell me that, Salvation Soldier? You says because evil rules them. So why? Okay. And anyway, we are not skin color. We are divine spirits having a human experience. We are, yeah, you're right. We are divine spirit. We're divine souls having a human experience. You're right. But you have to recognize that if we're divine humans if we're divine souls having human experience, why are these forces interrupting our human experience? You got to realize we've been here as Nubian people for a longer than the Neanderthal, way longer than the Stone Age. Way long. We've been here a long time, for a long time, and in that time before, we didn't deal with this. What we're dealing with now. We didn't deal with what we're dealing with now, you know. We dealt with, for the last 7,000, I give it 8,000 years, we have dealt with What we have dealt with is a lot of rape, a lot of pillage, a lot of tearing down, a lot of wars, a lot of battles, a lot of colonization, a lot of conquering. We dealt with a lot of that. And what does that come from? Does it come from mixing? Came from mixing the species to another species and creating something that is sinister from it? Because the Bible does say these things are wrong, you know, that you're to keep yourself from certain things. And what no one can take away from what has happened. Many people want to take away from what has happened and what is constantly happening on the same basis. But the whole thing is people show you who they are. And if we don't get that this whole society that we're in, that integration was the greatest mistake that could ever happen to us. If we don't get that the reason why I can say integration was bad, because who would go back to the people that mistreat them? Who would Okay, you can press a person in the corner, and that's what happened to our people. But what made them people mental health? Mental health certainly would make them go back because um that's what is majority of the time dealt with is mental health issues. Now you can go to other countries, but other countries they already had it set up. Who does that? Does human beings do that? Set up everything where it's in their control? Have people puppeteers of each country? People they put in place so they can um, feed off of other people on a constant basis, and those people over there struggling. But yet, I don't see the Caucasian race in that manner. They're not dealing with that. Matter of fact, Africa benefits France. And France is so scared at times they're going to lose their control. But I don't think they're scared anymore because they got plans. They've already put those plans in place. So only a naive person would say color doesn't matter. Because it's more, I can give y'all one thing though. I agree with you all. Color shouldn't matter. Color, unfortunately, the is the cover for a more bigger issue. Color is a cover for what is more, and I can say more because it's literally dealing with the more science. Because if you know his story, if you know his story, Salvation Soldiers people's story, if you know his story says that the Moors gave you all science, math, arts, manners, buildings, castles. They gave you life they gave you a rebirth. You was able to rebirth yourself in the Renaissance after the Dark Ages. So you learned so much from people who were my color. So how can you ever in life walk around here today saying that color has nothing to do with it? But of course we made it easy. Don't think color is taken off the table because color has everything to do with it in a way because they made it have everything to do with it. Before, no, it wasn't about color because it was about abilities. It was about your abilities. So they knew your abilities, and that was a problem. So they had to build something, a construct called color. And the color benefited them. He says, I'm not claiming I know what this place is, but I'm grateful we are waking up. What's it's becoming? Much love. Yeah, you have to wake up because the thing that they did, yeah, they built construct of color. But what they did with it is they made you sheep. They made you sheep. They made you sheep. We're a little bit powerful. We're a little bit powerful. So what they had to do was strip us of our power. We would have made this world would have been different. Let a black person in their right state without that's never been touched. A high priest. I'm going to give you a high priest come in and be the head of all these places that we're dealing with now. Let's say they take the place of the 1%. How about that? You wouldn't see, because of our nature, because of our heart, you wouldn't see control. You wouldn't see people struggling. Everybody would have. That's basically letting I don't want to really go there, but if that high priest was in the control of everything, but it wasn't really control because we wouldn't even feel it like it was control because we wouldn't have banks. We wouldn't have no need for banks. We wouldn't have a need for paper money. People be living off the land still. But there wouldn't be social security for us, social security numbers. We wouldn't have to have we would have high-tech cars that we don't have to take in maintenance and would break down if, with the little engines. We wouldn't do things to harm the planet. It wouldn't be no harming the planet. But somehow the wrong people are over us. And they're not going by the science of the human beings, which is allow nature to do, to do things naturally, you know. Instead, and then each man understands that you cannot take from another. Why we wouldn't have to take from another because everybody's needs will be met. It wouldn't be no such thing as stealing. And it's just as people want to induce these things and mental health issues. They cause us to have mental health issues. They cause us to have these things right now. The 1% that is in control of everything, cause all this havoc. Afghanistan, intentional, all intentional, the- just ridiculous stuff. So everything's been intentional. And it's not supposed to be intentional, it's supposed to be natural stuff. And we don't live in that because of the people. I agree, there's evil people, but they did construct color. They constructed color because before it wasn't about color. It was about ability and them being upset because they didn't have control or didn't quite have those abilities. So the world is the way it is now. And then what they did was they put sheeps, people that they know that they can control your people. Daniel, that's what they did in your community. That's why you have this power struggle, because there's two different groups of people in your community uh who they've had to appease. They've had to appease. They had to play both sides basically. So they done that because it's their MO to have to have fighting amongst the people, chaos, you know. So that, I mean, you can't take away that they've they've constructed this here in America. And it's went so far, it's gone so far, it's been convoluted. It's convoluted. We can't really do anything about it. The best thing we can do is what I'm saying to do. It's the best thing to do. And that's separate. Because as long as you're together, that's what they've done. That's what they've created. Is us wanting to be multicultural. Because the more multicultural you are, that's what they want, that one world government. And everybody's in America. So they want that one world government. But people should love themselves. You know, the whole thing is it's health. It's health. It's killing and it's mental health, Daniel, in your community is what it is. In my community is the same things. They lie and they keep all this information away from everybody. That's why they don't want us to have they don't want us to have holistic health, because the people were going to them and for their body types, their body chemicals getting help. So your own people are wiping you out. Your own people are doing this because they control and they think they're gods or something. They control everything. So, like I said, the way things are, we we can't be together in an integrated world because we're falling into the pattern of their trap. You know, that's why I agreed with Trump when he says, you know, when he does what he does, because he's not over us. He knew that he wasn't our leader. That's why they have these leaders, and he was insulting those leaders about how they take care of their cities, DC. Um, and he insulted him, and a lot of people were mad, but it's the truth. It's the truth. If you don't take care of your own people, you know what I'm saying? People think that's racist. No, that's not racist. Racist. What is racist is somebody being over us that is not us. Somebody that does not look like us, didn't homegrown like we together, like us in the same predicament. That's racist. This has been racist society for us because they gave us what? One brown president, and he's not even brown. He's not even really us whatsoever. And he's loyal to his mom's people because that's what he grew up with. And they tried to and fictitiously make like he could relate. but he couldn't because we don't think the same. And he was trying to get a hold of our mentality, but he didn't have it. So it's not beneficial to us at all. If you have your own issues, Daniel, with these evil, wicked people, then us being amongst you is allowing most of our people to fall as sheeps too, because most of your people are sheeps. They listen and follow that because it's a mental issue. You said, I hear you. I'm struggling with it all. I see the poison around me. I'm just trying to my best every day to keep positive and treat. Yeah, because the law of nature says if you do bad things, it's going to come back to you. You have bad energy, that's what your life is going to be a bad energy struggle. You're going to struggle in that red room, in that bad energy of jealousy, of instead of focusing, focusing on yourself, instead of focusing on yourself and your own energy and dealing with that, because the outside world wants to control our energy and our emotions and keep us in bonded by that. And I think that when I went to the Moses Myers house, I think that that's what that spirit was telling me, that they're bounded by their own emotions, because your own emotions can keep you stuck in a place. And she said she had animosity, and the lady, one of the caretakers of the house, she even said that she couldn't come into that room because of the energy in that room. So yes, a lot of times we are stuck in our emotions instead of allowing our emotions to be a beneficial weapon for us. Not a bad weapon, but a high energy weapon. Like, for example, just using our minds and thinking through those emotions and admitting to your feelings, your true feelings, and dealing with it from there, doing what you need to do for that. That was our science. We had the science of voodoo. You know, it's the science. And then they cut us off. They put these movies and put us in fear of talking to spirits, of dealing with spirits, of doing the witch board, of doing cards. You know, things that help us. You know. And Lorraine said, "We are all waking up and collectively will stop this evil to continue to perpetuate tyranny." Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. Yes. And with your energy and um the people doing the opposite and not being sheeps, that's how you beat them, by not being sheeps, you know. Um but my thing is, we definitely need to, I'm not saying be racist or hate each people, nothing like that, because that's not good energy. That's bad energy living with. But being in your rightful place, because they've taken you out from your rightful place and putting us in That's why we got to see that that's why they have the melting pot. That in the beginning, that's their whole, that's a whole plan. This is a whole plan. And like I said, to um and it may be a repeat. Maybe we're doing the same thing over and over again. Who knows? That's the way I see it sometimes. It seems like it's a circular motion we're stuck in. But heaven is within. No one could take that away. And it doesn't matter if you live or die, really. And that's the thing about it too. They made like death is so bad. They made like, and they want to keep you alive and I just don't get it. How do they keep somebody that doesn't have a body alive? Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to do that? You make like they don't need the other things. What kind of quality of life is that? What kind of quality of life is people living with no, they have a shoulders, they have a stomach, but they don't have the rest of the bodies, the middle part and on down, you know. You know, we got this, common sense. Common sense. But we want to put the spirit in those people and keep them up and keep them here struggling. And then you tell them a lie and say that there's after, once you live this life, there's another place. There is a better, but why can't they live here like that? That's my thing. Why not here in peace without wars, without anybody taking advantage of people, without all of this stuff? I can't even, even in my mind, I can't even phantom the evil people. I can't even phantom that they really can exist in this place. I can't phantom that they really do exist in this place right now, you know, doing what they're literally doing, lying to the masses of people. And I mean, people are not falling for it, majority of the people, and that's good. But then, you know, they're being tricked in other ways. People have been tricked in other ways. And people do, I've had people in my family that fell for it and they're still tricked in other ways. So they fell for it, the jab, and they're tricked in other ways. So it's not they'll tell me that, is this place made just to test us? Thanks. I appreciate what you are saying. Um, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe it is. Maybe it is to test people. But I'm gonna go to the bacon house. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do another video next weekend on the bacon house information on that. And then I will be going there Saturday. Saturday, we'll be touring the bacon house. I'm gonna set up a video first, like I did the last house, telling you all the history and everything behind the bacon house. And we're gonna see if we can get some more soldiers, because that's what I'm picking up. I'm picking up soldiers. And we are going to Mount Vernon and we're going to see all the presidents. We're gonna try to, you know, get up there. to Northern Virginia and Richmond and Charlotte and stuff like that and see those places. But there's places right here where I'm at now that we still need to see if we can get some soldiers all over the place. And like I said, you all need to talk to them. You all need to communicate. Do those witch boards, do the pendant, do the cards. They talk through cards. Um And not only that, you can go visit these places, museums, plantations, or houses. Some of them are just plain houses. In Louisiana, they got a lot of houses if they're not destroyed. When I was last down in Louisiana, I still saw a lot of nice places, historical places still up. So, and that was after Katrina. But, I only wished I could visit them. I didn't have time, really. I didn't have the time to really go into those, and they looked kind of at the time, I wasn't even awake. I was still active duty military, so I was a little bit squeamish about them because I had to drive by them at night and stuff. But I wish that I took the opportunity to go ahead and visit them. I really did. I really do wish I did that. But, I felt eerie feelings, and I was all into that then, and I was, going by the bridge where they said a lot of bodies fell into the water there, the bridge over there where Katrina happened, and they said a lot of dead bodies were found over there. I went by there at night. A lot of places I had to drive by myself at night when I did travel. So, I did get an eerie feeling, some eerie feelings. But, you know, I knew that, I didn't fear the spirits. It's just the eerie feeling that came over me, at many times. But like I said, you can get out and do the same. You can see if you know what the hours are at these places and just do the cards there or do the witch board, maybe take some friends, do the witch board. It's actually some fun things to do, you know. It's not just or go to the graveyard, and speak. And because if you want divine intervention, you're not going to get it in the mindset of thinking way they want you to think about a God and a Jesus Christ. You're going to have to get it the way that it was done before they wiped out the our ancestors way of doing things, because they did it to them. We know that's a fact. They did this to them. They cut their tongues. They took the drums away from them. They uh, covered their mouths. They did not want them to look at them because they felt like, in a lot of the writings, they said they felt like you were putting a hex over them or you were giving the evil eye to them. So if they took away and they gave us religion, then we know that what they took away was powerful. And you cannot fear because they want us to fear these things. Um, like children, my children don't get what I'm saying 100. They're very smart children. They kind of get what I say, but the world outside that's teaching them too kind of conflicts with their logic sometimes. And um it's hard to explain to them things. Yeah, the Ouija board. I had the Ouija board. I need to find it. I know I put it somewhere. But no, I have experience in it. I've always messed with it since I was a little girl. We did seances and all that when I was younger. So it's natural what they cut you off from your nature. You know that, right? It's natural that we deal with our spiritual side. Instead, they put a man and they put another man. They put a man in the sky and told you that's sky daddy, God, and then they put a man on the earth and said that he went with the God, with the Father, and his name was Jesus. They gave him a name, they gave him a label, they gave him a color, they gave him they gave him all this stuff. So is that right? Or is that a spell they put over the people? It's a spell they put over the people. So what you have to do is you have to go back and find your natural spiritual self and utilize that because what they have done is they've really thrown religion out here, period, for the people to think that you are free. Yes, they have it. They have created another construct called politics and called democracy, which they want to spread all over the world. But so, what comes with democracy is Christianity. And Christianity killed a lot of people just to force them to do that. And they did it to the people in Haiti as well. And that's why there was two different groups of people. There were the people that followed the traditional voodoo, and then you had the people that wanted to be American Christians. And you have the same thing in Africa. So it's convoluted. Everything is like I'm not using that word is usually used in the writings, convoluted, but it still means twisted, twisted. Everything is twisted, you know. So I won't be here too much longer. So with that said, we know that okay, this is a good thing that they found an interspecies person because the more we know, the more we can learn. That's all it is to it. The more we know, the more information comes out about all of this, and not only this, you know, they it's just it's just a lot. They give us a lot. Like I was watching the Transformers. I think I fell asleep after watching Transformers. The moon something that part of Transformers. Dark Moon, the Dark Moon. And it showed we got to think about this. Everybody got to think about this. Ness is a lie because they showed them going to the moon, right? And they tried to they enter twine that movie with with the original footage of them being on the moon, and they put that together, right? And they gave us some truth and they gave us some lies. We have to discern ourselves and use our common sense is the best way to think. We can, logic is for the masculine. It is for the masculine because the masculine, even though the women were wise, women use common sense. We were the common sense for our men. Um, the logic is for them to uh, explore um, more like the science, the science stuff we have now. Because those were mostly high priests, those were mostly men in those days, in those times. So I done lost my train of thought. because I was going on a tangent into a whole different road. But so when they messed up the masculine and the feminine, basically the masculine and the feminine energies, they twisted it. They definitely twisted that. And now in this society, we are the result of that. We're the result of that. So it's important for those who feel like they have to take the man's role to realize no, you don't have to take the man's role, because common sense is what we used to help the man, and not really all of this, because he dealt with the science. He dealt with the science of it all. And we were the support. We were the wise ones, the wisdom behind him making decisions with these science. And like I said, we lost that. And now a lot of us women are having to deal with the common sense and the logic. We have to do both. We have to do, and you know, there's a balance. There's a balance in that. When we're dealing with that, we have to realize, yeah, we're feminine, and yeah, we are masculine, because we're of our dad, we're of our mom. And like I was saying, it takes two parents to get a Ubuntu child. It takes two Bantu parents to make a Bantu child. It takes two Caucasian people to make a Caucasian child. You know, and it's two different worlds. And that's the thing I'm saying. It's two different worlds, and you have to respect that separation. And a lot of that has been disrespected. That's all I'm saying. It's been disrespected. And I think that they were on the road to helping it, and then people saw that they could take advantage of it, and they wanted to control other people. They wanted to control other people. So they controlled people. You see, why do you think the British, it doesn't make sense, because the British battled over here, right? But they had some help from some of our people. Some of our people. And let me see. Let me look at this, because I don't want to say wrong, but I don't really get it. '17. Battle against the British. Battle against the British. Civil War. Okay, Edge Hill is the first important battle. The fight for the royal standard of the battle, Edge Hill. Let me see. I'm not looking at the right thing. Look at the British. Okay. Okay, it says colonies rebelled. Okay. But okay, it says following the battles of Lexington and Concord, an outbreak of revolt across New England. Let me share this here. I'm going to share my screen because I'm trying to figure out. Hmm. Okay, following the battle, okay, I already said that. Outbreak of revolt across New England, the American rebels laid siege to Boston. The British position was fairly secure once a reinforcement arrived at the end of May 1775. However, continually menaced by fire from the surrounding hilltops, the British decided to occupy these positions. On 17th of June, British troops were ferried across the Breeds Hill of Charlestown Peninsula. At the cost of more than 1,000 casualties, they defeated the revolutionary Bunker Hill. The order, "Don't fire until you see the whites of their eyes," was popularized by stories about this battle, although it's unclear who actually said it. Okay. On March 1776, George Washington moved his newly raised army to Chester Heights and placed his artillery in position to menace Boston. Bad weather and American privateers, state-sponsored pirates prevented supplies from reaching the city. In April, Major General William Howe, the new British commander-in-chief, evacuated the besieged city and recouped his forces in Halifax, Nova Scotia. The episode demonstrates one of the main problems faced by the British throughout the war. They had to transport men, supplies across the Atlantic. In such circumstances, the loss of control of the sea, however temporary, could have dire consequences. Okay, that's kind of the. But I don't get, I don't get, I don't get it. I don't get it. Okay. Is America really independent? You know, I don't get it. I don't, I don't see it. And that's the thing. Like I said, majority of the things are lies. Lies. Because why? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. How can, I don't know. It's just more confusion. Any story they tell us is confused to me. And like I said, we just have to have discernment about these things because common sense is seriously need to be utilized in these things because there's a lack of it in the stories many times. Um, you said history is funny when we don't really know what happened and what's been changed for an agenda. Exactly. Exactly. I do not get it. And then a lot of the people especially in your community, they really fall for this, and it doesn't add up to me. I mean, I'm living here in Virginia where they say it happened, right? Um, I don't know. It's just confusion. Unless I was there to witness anything, them telling me these things, it just doesn't make sense to me. And then me going over there and I don't know. I really don't know. They can tell us these things and they got their scientists looking at things, but why can't we have scientists studying these things and looking at these things in the same if it was all, it's we know that it's construct and them trying to hold us back. They don't, I thought about this the other day, and I told you all that if a high priest of color that looked like me was in the situation, we wouldn't have was the the one that was pulling the strings on the planet, we wouldn't have all this stuff we see. We wouldn't have, and I can say it from my perspective because look at my people. Look how loyal and how loving and how they give credence more to Caucasian people who have done so much and showed them so much, contrary to what they, you know, contrary to the way they've behaved. Look at that. That's testimony. That's testament to how the world would be greater. Just how the world would be greater, you know. And the same in science. The same thing in science. And that's why we're not because of the evil people. The evil people know this. They already know this. They know that if we were that's why they keep us on the bottom. That's why they keep us on the bottom, you know. They don't want they want things easy for them, but they need the world to be in chaos. They need the world to be in chaos. And you know where we see the prime example of that at? You know where we see the prime example of that at? The ones who are leaders of these cities, they don't they get money from the top, right? They got money. They live great lives. But the people on the bottom who don't work in government are living bad lives, not so good lives. Even though we strive to live good lives and we lie to ourselves, the one that's over us, the government, is getting more than the people. And that's testament to because it starts from the top of the leadership, the top of the food chain. And that's what they have done. That's what they have done. So, family, I'm going to let y'all go on this note. Like I said, there's a reason why they cut you off from your own natural spirituality. It's powerful. So, you need to go and talk to your ancestors, wherever they may be. I mean, they're all around you, really, to be honest with you. You could do it in your own home, but to talk to others as well, other spirits and stuff, you would have to go to the if you really want a change, you really want to push the hands and everything, it's going to have to be spiritually. And we don't have the power. We don't have the physical capabilities, but we have the spiritual capabilities for these things. So instead of going to the Jesus they've built and constructed and they fed us, and the God that they, that they want to fly up in the space and see, evidently, but they confuse whether he's an alien or a God. I don't know, but instead of dealing it with like that, we need to deal with it the right way, the right way. And like I said, I'm gonna set up a video for the Bacon House, and it's gonna be just explaining the history. And I'm gonna do that probably set the day of going, probably the morning of going before we go, and I'll get that set up. But I have other videos too um, that are gonna be happening after this. But with that said, thank you guys for being here. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Riz, Lorraine, Salvation Soldier, Black Gemini Films. Thank you. Harley, the Butterfly Witch, Salvation, yeah, Salvation Soldier, I sent you. Mr. Pirate Brain. Thank you, guys. Lovely having you all engaged. And D, long time no see, D, Mr. D. Thank you, Daniel Gripton. Thank you. Kelaz Militant. Thank you, Kelaz. Thank you for being here. And Trucker Mod 444. Thank you for being here, sister. Thank you, guys. Until next time, always remember the true love within, true peace within, and your higher self within the soul, your spiritual self. It longs for you to just know that it exists. It doesn't exist for no reason. It exists for every reason. So with that said, peace be with you, and may your day be beautiful the rest of the day. Till next time.